Well, hello colleagues, this is DeRionne and I'm greeting you today as we just finished our Board of Regents meeting for this quarter. We're going to get ready to get home, but before we do, I thought it was important to sit down and talk about a few of the things that happened there and then give you a good preview of where we're going to go in the next week. I want to say this is my first meeting, so it's very interesting to observe all the ways in which we have governance decisions that happen within our system, but more importantly, watching the deep coordination that's attempting to be made between the various sectors, the various organizations, and probably most importantly, how I'm observing us really take on some important issues that are happening within higher education. So I want to lift up the tremendous work that was discussed and owned by our faculty around developmental education and the revisions that are going on there, and also the opportunity to recognize continuous growth and the need to refine our strategic vision for the entire state. That being said, we also had the opportunity to talk about a few other things. They did hold a meeting here at DRI, which is the first time I had been here. Wonderful space, wonderful opportunity to talk about research and all the things that are happening within this wonderful facility. I also had the opportunity to meet in person several other people who were within our system. It was wonderful to make connections, albeit just at the eye level. If I see them without their mask, I probably won't recognize them, but that won't be the first or the last time that happens. The college did have a couple of big ticket items that was on the agenda for this quarter. Our Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry. I want to thank Provost Shields and the faculty in our chemistry area for developing that program. Quite excited for how that's going to play and giving students, again, opportunity to pursue careers and work in a field that is quickly burgeoning with profound need. We were also grateful to have the Board of Regents accept a donation from Mr. and Mrs. Rick and Jerry Crawford, which is a 15,000 square foot modular facility that's going to come on our campus, hopefully in the early spring, that will allow us to take some of those back functions that are in the front of the house, move them into this facility and create more space for student services and other activities that are needed that are student facing. Quite excited about that and grateful to them, longtime supporters of the college, in that they have been advocates for us, but they also are owners of the Green Valley Grocers. So I'm sure many of you know about that entity. It's actually one of the first things I know because my family discovered slushies that they have there. So we, on our first visit, as a matter of fact, to the area. So quite grateful to them for their support. The Board of Regents also took action to authorize NCHE staff and the Chancellor in particular to draft a policy as it relates to mandating that all NCHE employees get COVID vaccinations. And we know this was something, item 33, that everybody was watching on the agenda. Very important moment, wonderful contributions of public comment, both for and against, but also very important, this is a very thoughtful conversation amongst the board about what the implications of this particular policy may mean. And I thought it was important because one of the things that's here is that as we are having conversations about policy and the roles that each of us play in that, I'm reminded of a chancellor that I worked for who oftentimes would say to me, "DeRionne, you got to help me carry the water." And I didn't understand that. He put that out in a meeting one time, and I said, "What do you mean by that, Joe?" He says, "You keep putting me out here on these issues." He said, "I'm going to need you to help carry the water on this. We're going to walk this together." So I'm going to start a little part of this once a month in my conversations with you. Help me carry the water series, and maybe I'll come up with a different way of calling it. But these ideas of leaders within our institution, whatever space they're in, kind of talk with me about observations. And I had someone here today that I thought would be a perfect person to join me because she got to sit through the Board of Regents meeting with me over the last couple of days. Dr. Samantha Jewell, who leads our faculty in so many different areas as a scientist by training. But I thought it was very interesting for you being at this meeting and to observe all the dynamics that may have been going on here, but to hear the board's conversations about this vaccination. I'd love to hear from you as a faculty member and as a scientist why you believe the vaccine is so important for where we are right now.
Certainly. So as an immunologist who studied respiratory infections, it's been incredibly important for us to get this vaccine ready and just understand that the vaccine is indeed safe, that is based on nearly 18 years of knowledge where we had a coronavirus outbreak. And so we've been studying coronaviruses for some time.
Okay, can you repeat that for the people in the back?
I'll say it one more time.
Please
yeah.
do, yeah.
So our first coronavirus outbreak was in 2002. That was the SARS outbreak. After that, there was a MERS outbreak. And so we've been studying coronaviruses for a while. And so although we had a vaccine come very quickly, The vaccine was based on a body of knowledge. And so it went through full vetting processes. I've actually seen the FDA data. So before I got my vaccine, I looked at the FDA data and made sure that it was safe. And I chose to get that vaccine, both understanding how pandemics take place in a respiratory infection, but then also just wanting to protect my family. I have an immunocompromised mother, which is why I became an immunologist. And so just really wanting to make sure that I keep other people safe, and that my students, when I'm in the classroom with them, I want to make sure that I'm not impacting their families. So
this needs to be a clip I'm going to make, because this is the truth of this, is that oftentimes when we hear all of the misinformation that's taking place, when we have real, true, substantive facts that need to be advanced widely, it is these types of conversations, these types of testimonies that are so important to us. So I want to thank Dr. Samantha for joining us. And I say doctor because it's important to recognize. She was teasing me earlier because I said, call me DeRionne. She said, well, call me Samantha or Sam. And I thought, but in this moment, she's speaking to us as a trained professional. And oftentimes we want to ignore those voices when it's convenient. We don't get to do that right now. So I told you all why I got vaccinated. I put this out on social media. I want to encourage you to engage in the work. Our institution right now, about 65% of our employees have been vaccinated. Wonderful. We are leading NCHE institutions of those of us who are student facing. Of course, our wonderful colleagues here, DRR at the front of that, and our NCHE colleagues at the system office. But we know this is important. Please take advantage of this wonderful science that's here to help prevent this. We know for a fact that we all want to get to whatever the next normal is going to look like, and the only way we get there is that we have the opportunity to really take advantage of the science that's there. So I want to thank Dr. Samantha for joining me here today. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say. My ask of you, I think, is really important over this next week. Again, continue to practice grace, continue to be patient, but also be patient with yourself. I had a wonderful meeting with our faculty leaders earlier this week, and we talked about this need about to acknowledge that a lot of us are burned out, that morale oftentimes is impacted. But here's the thing about this, there are resources. Our HR office put out some wonderful resources in the community I'll ask you to take advantage of. I'd also ask you to think about if you need help, let us know so we can figure out how to get that help to you. We're all in this together. The next normal is dependent on all of us being and getting through this moment. Until next week, I have to decide if it's going to be written or verbal. Let me know what you think. But I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care and be well.